then it started coming towards my direction. And it will be either coming from this direction, coming this from the south, coming this way, nice and slow. He ended up stopping right in front, about two blocks away from me.
I was sleeping and he woke me up. It was about 3:30 in the morning, and he said, "You have to come and look at these lights." And
come here, it's okay. Holy Spirit.
Automatically looked up to see this, all I can describe, this huge Mexican hut. It was stationary, this thing.
Like a sleep paralysis that you get. You can't move, you're frozen, you can yell all you want. You know, your partner could be right next to you, your wife, and they can't hear you, but you see something that's going on.
I was inside of a ship about 18 feet in diameter.
things started happening immediately, almost.
Hi, I'm Heather McLaren, ASCP ufologist from Scotland, and you're watching Alien Strand podcast with Donald Ledesma.
Whoa, what happened? Hey, hi, everybody. Welcome to Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Ledesma, and welcome to today's show, man. It's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure, but I'm glad you guys are sticking around and have been checking us out on Patreon. Thank you guys for joining Patreon. We had a lot more people joining up, and I really do appreciate it because it does go a long way, and it helps me out, helps me get these podcasts out and more video podcasts for all you guys out there, all right? And, it's just, it's been one of those things too where I work so much and I try to get as much things done, but at the same time when I put these podcasts together, I'm like, let's go, right? Because I'm always like on the go. This didn't give me shadow here. So anyway, I'm always on the go, man. And so I thought to myself, well, you know what? I need to get a podcast out to these folks because, there are a lot of people out there that really enjoy the content that's out there. And I usually put a lot of, enthusiasm in everything that I do. And just to give you my open mind, because when you watch Alien Strand or you listen to Alien Strand on the audio podcast, we're on 28 platforms, Spotify, all over the place, right? So iHeartRadio, you name it, you can listen to Alien Strand podcast. And my audio are different from the video. All right. So you're going to catch a lot more different on the audio podcast. My last guest that I had on, she did an amazing job, Ellie Oken, all right? And we talked about her past life as a child and everything. If you want to catch that on audio, you can catch it on YouTube or, your Spotify, everywhere out there. You can catch this audio podcast, a good hour and 20 minutes. We had a nice conversation about extraterrestrials that happened to her in her past, right? To where she's an artist. She's an artist and she actually does a lot of art, a professional artist, mind you, at that. So, and her paintings are beautiful, and they have like a lot of extraterrestrial in them, and a lot of different kinds of universal backgrounds, things like that. As she paints just as it comes to her mind, and she does beautiful work. And you go to her page; it's called Leokun. You can see it on Facebook. Go look for her there, and you can see her work. And we had a really good conversation about what happened to her as a child, and what happened in her past, being probably abducted by extraterrestrials as a young infant, right? And how that affects people later on down the line. And it does do that to a lot of folks. Today, where we're going to talk about, the DNA and the origins of extraterrestrials, and not just extraterrestrials, but our DNA in general, right? And of course, I've talked about it before, even on the audio podcast. I even said, that DNA molecule, the first strand started 9 billion years ago, right? But and I always get this wrong, but I figured it out. So since the DNA strand, the first strand of DNA started, the first molecule of it, right? It started it's 9 billion years old, right? And when you start thinking about it, then they went back further back to where if the first origins of the DNA, well, they figured out that Earth is 5 billion years old, right? So then you start thinking about, well, wait a minute, if our DNA is 9 billion years old, where did we come from? And where we put on this planet after this planet was formed, Earth, right? And you have to think about it that way. But please keep an open mind. All right, keep an open mind. I know I'm not going to touch anything about whatever, but because I always keep an open mind on everything, as far as the universe, the origins, God, everything, the alpha, the omega, everything that's kind of mixed in with everything, right? And then it just kind of gets me thinking, where did this all begin? Where did it all come from, right? How did it all start? And we're still trying to figure that out. But the mind-boggling part is that trying to figure out how our origins started, right? Of humans, right? And that's what gets me. And I'm going to show you this small little video. Check it out, and that way you'll know that I'm not full of crap. Somebody else saying it too. Here we go.
Follows Moore's law, and this means that every 600 million years it will double in complexity. You go back from today, 2024, 600 million years, it would be half the complexity. Go back 600 million years, half the complexity.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so if you did that, you get to the original point where it doesn't, you can't go back anymore. And that original point, meaning, is when the first human DNA was born, let's say, and that turns out to be 9 billion years ago. So if the human DNA is 9 billion years old, but planet Earth is how old? 5 billion years? This means that the human DNA is older than the planet.
Wow.
So where was it? That's proof that the human DNA existed somewhere else.
Interesting.
And was implanted on planet Earth.
Yeah. And that's what gets you thinking sometimes, it's like, if she's saying that, but she went right by that Moore's law, right? And it calculates it backwards, right? So Moore's law, all it is how computer chips and how everything kind of expanded, and how when the first computer chip came out in 1980s, even before that, that how fast it was generated into what it is today, right? So they go by that little table, and it's mathematical, really, in reality. So they put that into the 320,000 whatever years it was, and then they calculated it back to the first strand of the DNA, so where it come from, right? And that kind of gets you wondering, right? Where did we come from? Were we placed here? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think? I mean, I see your people are watching right now. Is it something that you think that we were born here and came from here, or because our DNA is of course, it has a lot of the Earth's molecules in it as well, right? And water, the everything you can think of is in our DNA as well. So could it be that we're just a part of the Earth, right? Or are we going to go by this table right here, right? So on this table, this is going by the origin of billions of years, right? So if you go back 10 billion years, if you look into the very left of the screen, that's when the table of our DNA, right, was first starting, right? And then as we went back, we started going, from 8 billion, and we started going backwards the other direction. You start seeing where the origin of Earth took place 4.5 billion years ago, right? Close to 5 billion. They think the Earth is that old, right? And then you start seeing where the Procroides, and then the Euchroides, or whatever, and then the worms, and then fish at 1 billion years old, worms at 1 billion, fish at 500,000, and then mammals, of course, right? So where we start counting zero. So is that to where the DNA started, the strand itself, and then it changes to what we are here today, right? Does that, in other words, what I'm trying to say here is it infused to a point to where, as each, you're watching that right there on the screen, right? I'll put my finger the other way, right here, right? So from the first strand there, it starts going up, up, and then we start evolving, right? That's basically what all it's telling you, right? So as we evolved, we start changing, the forms of us start changing into what we are today. Now, does it mean that this is how we're going to look from for the rest of humanity? You know, which I'm talking even after we're dead and gone and in a different place other than here. Is this? Are we going to stay looking like this? Right? Are we going to change into this? Right? Later on, who knows? Right? I'm just saying. I'm just saying, right? So, and it's just one of those things that, you know, it kind of gets you thinking outside the box, right? Of, you know, do we start changing or moving form into a different kind of species, which we are today, right? As humans, you know, walking upright, everything that we just take for granted, it came from somewhere and it started from somewhere, right? So that's where I'm just trying to say, right? So, but I'm going to jump around a little bit because there was this a video of this extraterrestrial. I just want to show you this real quick before we jump back and forth. And you know, it seemed pretty real to me. But when I start talking about the DNA and the origins and how it changes, at the very end of this podcast, you're going to see where I'm coming from, right? There's going to be a something that's going to connect at the end of this podcast to what I'm trying to tell you, right? So on this video, we're seeing here of an extraterrestrial hiding behind a wall, which looks pretty close to what a lot of people are seeing, right? And it's pretty close. Skin color, the way it moves, bone structure, things like that, right? To where this is a possibility of how this creature has evolved, right, in a different way. Now, are we going to look like that later in another billion years? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. But it's just a strange thing of seeing those things like that. And then you try to make the connection, you know, and a lot of people think that maybe not, you know, are we full of crap? I don't know, you know, and we're never really going to know until you close your eyes forever, right? That's basically what's going to happen. But at this time, it doesn't hurt to guess a little bit, right? To where these guys come from, and you know how we have evolved into what we are today. And of course, you saw the video of the woman saying, you know, how old the DNA structure is. Do you think that we were put here by another extraterrestrial civilization? Maybe something that looks similar to us, right? Is it a possibility that we were placed here by maybe Palladians or whatever you want to call them, Anunnaki, things like that? You know, we've talked about the origins of everything, right? And today, we're talking about the origins of DNA, and then you start thinking, well, if I'm just saying if these people planted us here, well, who made them? Right. And that's the big question, right? That we're always asking. Well, then who made you and who made that? Right. It started somewhere. You can't make something from nothing. Right. And that's my point. You cannot make something from nothing. And it's, you tend to think of the possibilities of where our DNA structure and everything has come from, right? You know, and how it has evolved over the years, over the thousands and thousands of years, into who we are today, right? And you know, thinking, talking upright, being more, just having more engineering skills. Our technology has grown so much. You know, of course, due to the UFO crashes, we know that has helped a lot. You know, on our getting our technology up there, right? To where the process has been sped up a lot faster than we think. Now, speaking of past extraterrestrials, and you know, I've always brought these guys up. A lot of people thought they were full of crap, right? But I don't think they are, and this is the extraterrestrials that they found in Peru, right? This is one of the mummies that they found in Peru. And it gets you wondering, how it looks. And then you start thinking about, well, look at the elongated head, the big round eyes, um, everything about the structure of this being, or human, what they thought, uh, kind of gets you wondering, right? But now, since the technology, as much as we've grown ourselves and how we've grown in technology, to where now the AI has created many images and can recreate images of something that mimics this, right? And you can actually upscale it to a different image. So when you ask AI, I'm drinking my coffee, I'm drinking my Joe, man. So when you ask AI to to fix and clean this image up, right? You end up getting this. This is what it's giving you from this. Okay. So it basically, the mummy in Peru, the way the structure they had, the round eyes, the mouth, the nose, the way the shoulders are, everything like that, it pretty much rounded it off to one of these, right? And this has the structure of it. Hey, look, doesn't it look like a gray alien to you? Liz Jeffries, my sister. Oh, hey, they're watching out there in New Mexico. I hope you're watching on that big screen TV. And she lives up there in New Mexico. Her my brother-in-law. I hope you guys are watching, man. Thank you guys for watching anyway. But yeah, it does look like a gray, and that's what these are, right? It's just this is what AI has put together from the Peru mummy, right? And it always gets us wondering about the structures and where these extraterrestrials and why were they buried there, right? And I always talked about extra civilizations. We have extra civilizations way before us. I'm talking hundreds of thousands of years, because they're starting to dig up more and more humans and just humanistic bones, um, over 500,000 years, right? So we tend to kind of overshoot and overthink things, as far as our books and our past books and our when I was in middle school or in school myself, we always were taught, about humans and our DNAs and our structure. DNA wasn't even there yet. They weren't even working on any of that. It's just, hey, you came here 2,000 years ago, and yeah, we're about that old. We're about that old. Pyramids, yeah, about 2,000. And it was like that. That's all it was. And then when they started coming out with DNA and then carbon dating, right? You started going deeper into the rabbit hole of what we've been missing out on so many years, right? And when you start digging into that rabbit hole, well, yeah, you start going deeper and deeper. So, okay, wait a minute, where did we come from? How did this happen, right? And it's just getting deeper and deeper as we go. And it is really, in reality, you start thinking about it, it is getting deeper and deeper. Um, because when this factor plays in, right, that's the hand of God, right? The universe, Alpha, the Omega. We always thought that the human origins and everything started 2,000 years ago. But what if it started way before that? What if the Alpha, the Omega, or the universe made us way before that? Because remember, it made these two, right? Think about it. Just keep an open mind, right? Made these two. And then they came back, dropped us off on Earth. Then our DNA structure started building, right? They said, well, let's just see how far this goes. And here we are today, right? Which it's taken many, 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 many years for us to get here where we are today. And then we start seeing nothing but, UFOs, everything like that, aliens. No, that never came into our thought processes ever, until what was it, 70s or early 60s. People weren't even thinking about any of that. It was happening, but it wasn't in our thought process. So now that there's so much ufology, so much extraterrestrials, so many programs out there, so many things out there, that we're starting to see more and more. Of course, everybody's got a camera now. Before, nobody had a camera. You had to pop it out of your glove compartment. If a UFO was flying by. Plus, thank you guys for those pictures that we got. Those old photos. We were able to see what you captured, right? And because nobody would have believed you if you didn't have those photos. But as we go on, we start seeing more videos of extraterrestrials. Now, okay. Now let me ask you this, right? If we come from then, or them, or let's just say let's just say the Palladians brought us here, right? Okay, they brought us. Okay, and of course they were made by the universe, Alpha, Omega, God, whatever, right? And they brought us here, and they didn't think we were going to prosper as much as we have now, and our technology has grown, and now they're starting to come back and say, hey, I see you, I see what you're doing. All right, that's good, right? And then they start looking at us through the clouds, right? So what's the best way to come and visit and just check us out, right? These UFOs, these craft, right? And then I'm going to show you this video. This is a great video, right? By the way. Okay, so what if these people are watching us, right, from above? And the only way to do it, because they know that they can't be amongst us, but they have to look at us from the clouds, right? So check out this video. You'll freak out.
On video, taking a video.
What is going on? Do you see that? Oh my God.
I don't know.
Video recorder.
What the hell is that? And he's even got his arms crossed, like just checking us out, right? This thing is way up in the clouds. That is a strange video, man. And to me, I don't remember if you remember, they always show this photo of that little girl, and then it looks like a spaceman that's behind her that kind of looks like that too. Kind of reminds me of that. I don't know if it does you too, but that is a strange video. And it just blows me away because this thing is up there watching, right? Just watching. That's it. In the clouds, mind you. So it's probably on the craft, maybe with a hatch open, but it's in the clouds. And these people happen to have caught it. And that right there is the and I'm glad they did, man, because I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't see it. I wouldn't have believed it at all, right? If I didn't see it. I don't know. Have you guys ever seen that video before? But look.
On video, taking a video.
What is going on?
What is going on, right? It's blown away on that, right? But I mean, what if they're watching us, right? After we were planted here all these years, and it just kind of gets you thinking more and more about our DNA and our structure and what everything is, and how our bodies are made and how everything is put together, right? And it always tells me this to why, they are watching us. They're always watching us. Like the book, The Watchers, right? They're always watching us. Watching us from above. Could they be these beings? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. Did it all start here? Maybe. It started somewhere, right? You can't create something from nothing. Something created that explosion, that Big Bang Theory, right? To what we are here today. And that's the $200 question, really, in reality, right? So DNA is a self-replicating molecule that carries the genetic instructions used in growth, right? It says it's a development of functioning and reproduction of all known living organisms. It's got a double helix. It's made of nucleotides. And of course, what does the DNA do? It encodes proteins, determines inherited traits, replicates during cell division, right? Stores biological information, right? So that's what DNA does. If we didn't have this, we wouldn't have known where it came from. It stores our information like an SD card or like your chip or whatever on your freaking phone, right? Stores the information of human beings and where we came from. And that has always puzzled me it's been puzzling me actually for quite some time. Since the beginning of Earth of 4.5 billion years ago. And of course, DNA strands 9 to 10 billion years old. That's a long time. And of course they keep records of all of this, of our DNA and everything that where it originated from. But people don't really like to talk about that for some reason. Right. But I do. I'm going to talk about it today, just a little bit, but I'm going to show you this other video. Check this out. This is an extraterrestrial. I told you I was going to jump around a little bit. So check this out. This is an extraterrestrial that somebody caught out there on a phone or whatever picture. But as strange as it looks very familiar too. Now imagine walking into the woods and seeing that thing standing there looking at you. I don't know, man. I don't know. Most people will just freaking run. And some will stay just to check it out, just to see what it is. But, the strange, like I said, I showed you the video of that, the video of the extraterrestrial, the video of them looking at us through the clouds. And I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think that this is how it happened? Were we placed here from somewhere else? And then why do we have the other blood type, right? That can't mix with any others. It's like a special blood type, right? And if we're all the same, we're made of human beings, but some are different than others, right? And it starts changing and starts forming into different things, right? As time goes by. Of course, we're never going to see it change. By the time we're gone, right? And who knows what's going to happen after that? But we'll never know what it really is or where we came from until the day that we leave this earth, right? And wherever we go, we go. We'll probably be part of everything in the universe, right? And I think we will. And me personally, this is where I think it all started. That's where I think it all started, right there. And because it came from somewhere, something. And we're probably never going to figure it out, just like we cannot figure out extraterrestrials. But you're going to watch this video real quick. Uh, and it's going to link everything to what I'm saying, right? To what I've been talking about here past 30 minutes, right? It's going to be a short podcast today anyway. So, but check out what this gentleman says. Watch and listen to him closely to what he says. He's an ex-CIA specialist, right? Check him out.
The second part of that discussion was about beings, that there were aliens, there were actual aliens, and that they were able to collect DNA from aliens. And that's when they discovered, and this didn't happen in 47, happened later. Probably they had tissue samples or whatever that they've stored, and they were able to recover DNA. And when we discovered how to sequence the human genome, when we sequenced the alien DNA, and we discovered that, there are markers in there that look very human. Human hybrids. That what looks like an alien has, for some reason, has human genetic markers in their DNA, in the genome. And so I found that to be interesting. And to answer your question, that's when I thought, this sounds pretty classified to me.
This is historian.
His CIA historian, yes.
Like that comes with some weight behind it. This isn't going to a UFO conference and you know, somebody like me going up there and talking about hybrids. This is an official CIA historian with background, with checked credentials, with clearances, telling a group of other individuals from universities, from different departments in the defense, intelligence agencies about hybridization programs.
Right. Hybridization programs, right? What do you think what he just said right there, right? That the extraterrestrials' DNA has some part of human DNA as well. So, and I told you at the end of this podcast, he was going to freak you out, right? And that was the message that I was trying to get to you guys, right? That right there. Because are these things us in the future? Why would they have DNA in their human DNA in their DNA strand, right? Why, right? If they weren't part of like they said. Hey, Miss Regina's out there. How you doing? Thank you for checking us out here. She's watching us out there in Oklahoma. Thank you, Regina. You know, and it's, you start thinking about that and what I just showed you, the video, that how is that possible? How is extraterrestrials and humans, how is that possible? Well, we all know, right? It's when they capture us, they take us and put us in their ships, and they start doing their little experiments and cloning and everything like that. Thus, we start having the creatures or the extraterrestrials that they capture or they find deceased end up having our blood or our DNA within their DNA mixed, fused, right? And you're hearing that from a CIA, retired. Well, he talked about that. And that's what gets me thinking all the time, you know. Are these things replicating? Are they using us in their programs, right? Are they taking sperm samples and everything from people to where, you know, they're changing into what these things are? And why do they need our DNA? Right? Why? People, they've said they can't replicate, right? maybe their DNA isn't as good as ours, right? To where they have to use our DNA and clone and abduct females and take their eggs. Me and uh we on that audio podcast, Ali, we talked about that. How we think that that's what they do. They take the eggs from the females and they make babies. And she says, I might have some out there I have never met, right? And that's where the mixture is. Or were these things made the same time we were? Do their DNA, does their DNA go that far back? That's what I want to know. If, and see, he didn't give you everything. He just kind of said that it has some properties of human DNA in the extraterrestrial DNA. Right? Regina says they can produce anything they want with our DNA. Yes. I'm a true believer of that too. And the gentleman that, I don't know if you just saw him, he was like a ufologist. He just passed away. It was Eric von Dyken. He had this theory of, it was called panspermia, right? It's going to sound strange. Panspermia, right? And he says that life seeded on Earth via comets or meteorites. What do you think? Do you think that it came from a comet and it just kind of hit Earth? And then here we go. It says some scientists consider microbial panspermia plausible. This might be plausible, but not engineered in DNA splicing. It doesn't fit the narrative, right? But it says a genetic missing link. It says suggests rapid evolution was externally influenced. Externally influenced. Right? So this is what it's telling you, right? Something influenced our DNA and it changed everything. It didn't come from a comet, which this gentleman that just passed away, I think he wrote the book Chariots of the Gods, right? But that was his hypothesis on where we came from. And it's just the crazy part of all of that is trying to put it together in your mind and try to figure out how far we go back, and are those extraterrestrials us, or they're just infused with our DNA. Regina says, I believe it does go further back. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, if our strand started 9 billion years ago, well, and then the Earth started 4.5 billion years ago. Kind of gives us that general idea that we came from somewhere else. Regina says, we are haunted strands of many different strands of aliens and other star systems are influenced. Maybe. Like you're trying to say, like different DNA properties from different star systems all put together, and here we are today, right? Which made us. Right now, this is an open discussion, open-minded discussion, mind you, and it just kind of gets you thinking a little bit more. Now, if I'm not seeing y'all's messages come through, I think the most that are going to come through that you're seeing on screen, those are from YouTube and Rumble only. So if you're doing it on Facebook, it probably I won't be able to see them, but I'll read back with them later, so that way I can see exactly what we're seeing here, right? And it just kind of gets you wondering of the theory of everything, right? Where it all comes from, where the Big Bang, where did we come from? And it just has me thinking of deeper things of where it all started. And how come it went back so far and nobody questions it, right? Nobody questions it. And it's like I said before, even if you're a religious person, which is I'm a religious person. Even if you go back to the book of Genesis, as we're looking at it as a historical book, let's just think about it as a historical book, not as a Bible or whatever. Let's think about it as a historical book. On the first day, this, on the second day, this, on the third day, this, right? So if you're looking on every day, who's to say each one of those days isn't a billion years, right? And it just gave you that chart earlier. This one here. So every billion years, do you see something in there on the right of your screen where everything starts forming? Worms, fish, mammals. So who's to say every billion years? Well, who's to say on the first day, the second day, and all the way to the seventh day, right? To where we are here today. Regina says, our DNA has been altered and manipulated since the evolution began. Yeah. But the evolution was 250,000 years ago, right? Up from Neanderthal and whatever, even before that, 500,000 years ago, to where, I'm sorry, Neanderthal, not Neanderthal, Neanderthal. That's the correct way of saying it. And just to go back and just, if you think about it, where it all began, and it has to go back further than that, right? To where we're walking, we're upright, to where it's just a cell. But if you think about it as male and female now, a baby or even an egg or whatever, where it comes from, humans, how humans are produced and reproduced is inside of a female, right? And then the egg grows and it grows into what it is inside of a womb, right? So how is that possible when the DNA strand started? In other words, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Right? If you think about it. So we can't live outside of the female of the womb. How did it happen? Regina says the harvest is energy. It can control our environment and our climate and also levels of consciousness. Yes, I believe so too. But, and like I said, this conversation can get super, super deep because of the origins of everything, right? And just like I talked about these fellas right here. Which looks pretty freaking close to this. Isn't that crazy? So, if you're thinking, okay, wait a minute. How are we made, man? If we have to be made inside of a female. How did it start? That's the $200,000 question, man. Did I dig deep into your brain just now? I think I just did. Because I just did. I just freaked myself out right now with that one. Yeah, because, man, that's deep. That's deep. And I like these conversations, I like these deep conversations because, it gets you thinking. If your brain's thinking, then you're doing something positive, right? I always think positive, right? And I always post positive things too, by the way. If you ever look at my Facebook, I'll be posting a lot of funny stuff. But there was one of Bruce Lee, he talked about how the words that come out of your mouth manifest who you are. and it'll manifest itself into something great. Now, if you put yourself down all the time, you're going to be down, man. If you give positivity to yourself and you bring it out there in your words can affect everything, right? So it's all connected. Frequencies are all connected. Consciousness is all connected. We're all connected, man. We're all freaking connected. Because if we can manifest that, if we can make greatness things, if some people are even sick and they think of themselves, I'm not sick, and it goes away. You know what people call them miracles, things that happen to people that just happen to go away because they think about, no, that's not going to happen. We're they're in a positive note. This is how it's going to go. This is how it's going to go. Right? We're all connected, all of us, from these guys to these guys to this guy. Right? We're all connected. Elizabeth Jeffrey says, we are all made of the same energy and light. Correct. We all have a spark. Our brains are always shooting off all kinds of neurons and everything. It's electrical. It's electrical. It's light, right? We have living molecules that fire up all over our bodies, all our brains. So we can manifest anything that we put your minds to. That's why they always talk about that, you know, by being positive and manifesting positive things, and good positive things will happen. It's true. It is true. Yeah. I agree too. You know, and this is how we have to see things, and we have to see each other as humans, human beings, not of different colors and anything like that. That has nothing to do with nothing, right? We are one, right? Think about that. We are one. We all bleed red. We are all the same human. We are humans. That's our species. If our species gets wiped off the earth, there is no more humans at all, right? So we have to be kind to each other, be positive, put good juju out there for folks, right? And maybe one day you'll see a light being like this, right? I was on the last podcast. This is a light being. We all give off light, man. If I saw something like that, I'd walk up to it, right? Wouldn't you? Not that. Not that one. No, I'm gonna step away on that one. Yeah. But I just wanted to pick y'all's brains today. Thank you guys for watching today's podcast. It was a short one. I just wanted to throw out a little bit of information, you guys. Get you thinking just a little bit. Just a little bit. Remember to find us on Patreon. Go check us out there. This podcast will play back on Patreon. We'll play back on YouTube. And we'll play back, excuse me, on Rumble. So it will play back on there if you want to go check it out again. If you missed the beginning part, right? So, you know, just when you're out there, be safe, you know, love one another, be careful. Don't get abducted. Don't get abducted. No. Especially females, man. Y'all be careful out there. You know, especially walking around at night and stuff. You know, there's just, man, there's been a lot of activity, a lot of UFO activity. There has been a lot. And I don't know, like yesterday, I don't know if you guys know, but I think it was yesterday. It's like everybody was pissed off. I mean, everybody was mad. I don't know what it was. It was here at work, just people in general. It was just, I don't know if it was electricity that was coming off of the earth or something, but the devil was out, man. It was like everybody was mad, you know, at something. It was kind of rubbing off on me too. I was like, no, not today. Not today. You know, it's bad juju can run out or rub off on people. So I always be happy, always be good, put a smile on your face, tell somebody good morning, tell somebody, hey, how you doing today? Hope you're doing good, right? Positive, man. Get some positive notes for folks out there. That's what Alien Strand's about, right? That's what we're about too. Positivity. Regina says, I'm a recluse now. I stay home, but they still come. Yeah. She's on our third film. Regina Palmer's on our third film. That I'm still trying to get it released, but you can find it on other applications, and on our Skylight, you'll catch it there. So if you download the Skylight, you just go to the webpage of Skylight 1 and you could see excuse me, you can see part 3 there. And I'm still trying to get it out on Amazon, but be patient with me. Part 4 is coming. I'll get that out to you as soon as possible. All right. Don't put cinnamon in your coffee before a podcast. I forgot. I always forget to do that. I was like, crap, I put cinnamon in my coffee. And so that's why I'm coughing. It's hit me. But anyway, all right, guys. I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, or have yourself a good evening, actually. And catch me on the next podcast here on Patreon. It's going to be for paid members only. So if you do have a paid subscription, you'll be able to catch one of my other podcasts that are coming up here as well. And, go to our Patreon, sign up. There's a free one there. You can sign up for free too. Go check us out there. I do put a lot of good stuff on there. I'm going to have some goodies coming up for you guys to download and just to have on for your person, right? For some backup. But Elizabeth Jeffries, my sister, says, stay away from the bad energy. You can take it home. Yes. Queen Regina, we love you. And thank you for all you do, the blessings. Thank you, Regina. Love you too. We just, I just try to stay positive, right? Because the days, the things that are happening now on this earth, it's crazy. But stop watching the news, man. Just go look for some funny stuff. That's what I do. Watch cartoons like my sister always does. She's always watching cartoons. Go check out cartoons, man. So anyway, you guys have yourselves a good evening, and we'll see you on the next podcast. Thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this podcast today. Hit the bell, hit the subscription if you're on Rumble, on YouTube, or on X, because I am live on X too right now, and on Facebook. So I think on Facebook, I am actually live. So if you guys don't know that I'm live, I am live there, but not on my personal page. I'll tell you which one I'm live on. And it's going to be, so next time if you guys catch it, you can catch it on that page, because that page seems to be working. So it's called Alien Strand Global Extraterrestrial and Ufology Research Group. All right. So this is the page that it's going to be on live. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll try to put it there. There you go. So if you guys can, that's where I'm going to be live next time. Go check us out there. Go to this page. It's a great page. This is for everybody. You can post your own UFO stuff there as well. Alien Strand Global Extraterrestrial Ufology. Go check that out. I'll put the link on there to all my links. And we'll see you guys on the next one, right? Have yourselves a good evening. See you later, alligator. Bye.
And Major Hector Quintanilla is now the chief of Project Blue Book. Major Quintanilla, what are the objectives of Project Blue Book?
As I'm standing there, I kind of, it's very hard feeling to describe. Skinny arms, skinny legs, but I could only see about half of this thing.
It was just an eye-opening experience. There was a ship coming over the house.
It was like a white light sort of thing that we saw. It was coming out of a cloud.